Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 97 of Nintendo Unleashed. That's right, only 3 more till the big 100.
Do we think that's going to be a live episode, right? Possibly?
Hopefully.
That would be fun. And we might have a big cast. We'll see.
What will that be? Let's see. So 98 will be next week, then 99 the last week of December. So the first week. It's
going to be the first episode of 2017?
Wow.
Nice.
So, yes, I am here with Noah.
Hi, guys. No Arms.
Yep, Arms is unfortunately unable to be here today.
He's playing Mario Run. He can
I
play while recording, though. One hand. I mean, really, Arms. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Arms. Miyamoto ate a cake while playing.
You can record a podcast.
So, yeah. We're going to talk about Mario Run because, I mean, that's really all that happened this week. As well as some minor things like there's a little bit of official Switch information. No rumors, actually.
Yeah,
some
finally.
Ukulele information, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon movies. And, yeah, that's pretty much actually all our topics. So let's get into this with what we're playing, Noah.
Right. So I think the only things I played this week are Pokemon Go and Super Mario Run. Because I'm coming up on winter break, there is a ton of testing and presentations and things. So I haven't really had time to sit down with my Wii or 3DS to do anything really. So it's just been those two games. I haven't gotten any of the new eggs, but I got Christmas Pikachu, so that's something. So I probably put about, not much time into Pokemon Go, but I've put at least 3 hours into Mario Run so far. So I'm definitely enjoying that. We're going to get into more detail in a little bit, but yeah, just mobile stuff for me this week.
So I caught them all in Pokemon Sun.
Ooh.
I don't know.
And what's the total number?
It's technically 300, but you can get Magearna now. You just have to scan a QR code that you can find anywhere on the internet, and you get it given to you. I don't think it has an expiration date. You do need to be the champion to do it, though.
Okay, nice.
So it is. I have 301, but you only need the 300 to get the Dex completion bonus stuff.
Mm-hmm. What does that give you? Because I've never done that.
In most games, either nothing, or for the regional decks, you get the round charm starting in, I think it's black and white, where eggs appear in the daycare more frequently.
Okay.
But then in this game, because the national dex doesn't exist, they made the round charm for seeing every Pokemon in the Pokedex. And then you get the shiny charm, which I think halves the appearance rate of shinies. So they appear twice as frequently.
Oh, I thought you meant like half as frequent. I was like, why
no.
would you do that?
Sorry,
okay.
doubles.
Okay, there we go. I was like, that would be a very strange item for collecting 300 Pokemon.
Yeah, so before you had to catch everything in the National Dex to get that. Now it's just catch everything in the Alola Pokedex, which,
cool.
I mean, as soon as Bank opened, because I have a living Pokedex in Omega Ruby, I would have completed the National Dex anyway. So it's not that big of a deal, but I got it now instead of waiting till January. So
I guess
I've also put in 96 hours in the game, and it's not even been out for a month yet.
It came out the 18th, right? I forget.
Yeah, November 18th.
Okay, cool.
And I played Pokemon Go. I haven't got any new stuff, mostly because school's been out completely since I have, and that's where I did all my egg hatching walking home, and where I did Pokestops, so I haven't even got any eggs. And I've seen Festive Pikachu appear a couple times, but I don't. And at my house, there's like no Pokestops, so it doesn't give a nearby thing.
Okay.
So I have no idea where he is, and I don't feel like wandering the neighborhood looking for him. Then I was at my grandparents' house yesterday, and they live kind of in a more centralized area, so there's a lot of Pokestops around there.
Got it.
And the one had appeared, so I looked to see, and it was like probably like 4 or 5 kilometers away. And I'm like, why is this even showing up on the nearby radar? So I don't know. Maybe it was broken or something.
Right.
It was displaying the wrong Pokestop, but I didn't bother going for that because I don't want to walk 5K.
Nice. I'm hoping to get back into. I mean, obviously, I'm nowhere near as far new on Sun and Moon in regards to both Pokedex and game progress. I'm hoping to kind of get back into it over break because I'm going to have a bunch of time. And I'm going to have cousins over who enjoy Pokemon as well. So hopefully I'll have plenty of time to maybe beat the main story. I know I'm going to get nowhere near completing the decks, but I do eventually want to reach that, and that'll be my first time doing so in one of these games. Anyway, I'll move right into the Nintendo download for this week. It's not a terribly exciting week. I mean, there are a couple highlights, but mostly it's stuff which doesn't seem too noteworthy. And I think this is actually interesting because the Nintendo Mobile Super Mario Run is actually listed on here. Of course, that is at the moment an iOS timed exclusive. Will be coming to Android sometime in 2017, hopefully in the first half of the year, hopefully even sooner. I mean, I don't know. We don't know the details. But this is a free download with $9.99 to unlock the whole thing within. On the Wii U eShop, Scribble, which is sort of like a Pictionary type thing. I haven't gotten to try that style of game on Wii, but it seems like a good fit because obviously the person with the gamepad has not only has their own display with which to see a prompt, but of course they can also draw on it very easily. Mm-hmm. Seems like a perfect fit for that style. There's also SDK Spriter, which is pretty self-explanatory. I think this is like the second or third sprite thing, or pixel developer on Wii U, but apparently you can do all like maps and levels as opposed to just like characters. I don't know. I'm not really too well versed in the whole pixel creation toolset genre. Very niche. There's also Breakout Defense, which is just based on Breakout on the Wii U Virtual Console. Excitebox. Yeah, right. Cell phone game from like 1999. I don't know when that started popping up on cell phones.
Game you can play for free almost anywhere.
Yeah. Excitebots Trick Racing on Wii Virtual Console. This is a Wii game. And I guess it's kind of like an Excite Bike spinoff. I've never actually played it. I forget, was this a Wii launch title or was that Excite Truck?
I think it was Excite Truck, and this one came a couple of years later.
Okay, cool. So I've never actually played it, but it looks like a cool game. I mean, it looks very, fast and sort of high impact. Unfortunately, online play will be missing, which was a big part of the original game. But if you are a fan, that's a $20 download. On the 3DS eShop, Picross E7. It's more Picross, can't go wrong, I guess. And there are a number of My Nintendo discounts as well. So if I were to do a pick of the week, of course, the easy choice is Mario Run. But I think we're going to talk about that so much, so I'm going to give it to Excitebots.
I'm going to have to give it to that Breakout game.
Oh, yeah. It not only is Breakout on Wii, but now it's $7. So, a steal on a...
I've taken a few game design courses in high school. That's like the first thing you learn how to make, Breakout. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like this guy, whoever made this, probably did exactly what I've done, but published it. Unless it has like some extra modes or something.
Well, apparently there's two paddles competing against each other.
Okay, so that's a little interesting.
Yeah, so
I don't know, interesting. I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, there's a bit more depth.
It's not just literally Breakout.
Yeah, apparently you can do versus AI or versus a friend locally, which I guess is kind of perhaps interesting. So I don't want to completely discredit it, but yeah, I would probably have to go with Excitebots. Like I said, haven't played it, but from what I've heard, it seems like it's definitely worth recommending if you enjoy racing, specifically arcade racing. Don't expect a simulation here. Anyway, so I'd mentioned Super Mario Run. I'm going to talk a bit about that. I'm going to talk about my impressions as well as how the launch has been going for the game. Unfortunately, Conor has not been able to experience it because it, as you guys probably know, it came first to iOS. But hopefully he'll get to experience it soon enough and give his impressions as well. We'll see. But anyway, so the launch happened on the 15th at around 1 p.m. Eastern. That wait was torturous for a lot of people, I think, if you look on Twitter. It was funny. There was actually an exploit to download it kind of like a few minutes early.
Yeah.
And I actually did this, and it worked. You tap the updates button 10 times, and then you go to Mario Run, you click notify, and it would download it early. I don't know how someone possibly figured that out. Maybe that was that can't have been a past exploit because the notify feature is new, but whatever.
Maybe someone was just like, "Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!"
And then they're like, oh wait.
Wait, download it?
Yeah. So it came out on the App Store. Of course, it is free to start, and you will pay, or you don't have to, but you can pay to unlock the full game within for $10. What's actually interesting, and what I didn't anticipate, is that you can access the Kingdom Builder and Toad Rally modes in the free version. I assumed it was just going to be the first 4 levels of the single-player World Tour. So there actually is a bit more meat to it in the free version as opposed to just the single players, which will hopefully give players a better idea of what's on offer.
I think we should specify that again. It is free to start with the first 3 levels.
Free to start.
Yep, start. Mm-hmm. And then you can pay to get the rest of the levels.
Correct. Yeah, so the way this game is broken up, or at least the single player is broken up, it's 6 worlds with 4 levels each. And in the free version, you get the first 3 levels, and you get to play like the first 15 seconds of the 4th level, which just, is not enough to clear it. I've tried. So you're basically getting a pretty small hunk of the game to try, see if you enjoy the gameplay. And then, like I said, that purchase happens within. So I think there's only 2 downsides to that. Number one, I believe that makes sort of like a family share approach impossible. I believe if you have multiple family members on the same account, they have to purchase it separately because it's an in-app purchase. At least that's the impression I've gotten. Maybe we'll find a way around that soon. But additionally, a lot of folks seem frustrated. They almost feel like there's false advertising happening, which I don't think so. Nowhere does it say you can play the entire game for free. But a lot of folks feel like they're being tricked, that it says, oh, free to download, but then you have to pay within. But I mean, if you look at if you look at what's been said about this game, that's been one of the clearest points of messaging. But I personally think it's wiser to have one unified version because you have a lot of I honestly think more paid apps ought to take this approach because you get more people to download it initially, see what it's all about, and then they can pay if they want, and that helps. People are obviously going to be more willing to try out a free title than take the plunge on one that costs money. So I think it's smart to have this model personally. Clearly, though, a lot of people are discovering that some video games cost money today. But we'll see how this goes in the long term. On the short term, though, we know it's going great. And this is just for the U.S. App Store chart. I can speak to the global charts in a moment, but on the U.S. App Store, it is the #1 free app and the #1 top grossing. I wasn't sure if it was going to reach top grossing just because I wasn't sure how many people were going to pay for it. But then again, it is a $10 thing. The question then is, how long does it stay up? Because with something like this, with a freemium app, you're going to have people that keep paying throughout because there's always, your purchases are consumable eventually. You're going to use them up. Whereas with this, it's like you just do it once. So the question is, how well is it going to sustain? I personally think it'll do quite well over the holiday season because the amount of iTunes gift cards and iPhones which will be received by children. And I imagine they'll want to use said iTunes cards on this. Beyond that, though, I certainly don't think it'll stay in the #1 slot. Maybe somewhere around the top 10 just because it has that staying brand power of Mario. But hey, we'll see. It's also been, and this is total speculation, this is not really going off anything, but people are speculating maybe they'll add level packs for a low price. Like I speculated, maybe 4 more worlds for $5 or something. So that could be possibly another smart way to sustain it. And as for sort of global results, according to Sensor Tower, the game has become the top downloaded app in 80 countries and the top grossing in 30. So it is not just a US success, but so far globally it is doing pretty well, hopefully bringing in quite a bit of cash for Nintendo. I know Miitomo definitely never made the #1 top grossing. I don't even know if it made the top 5, honestly.
I doubt it.
Because the microtransactions in that game were very tucked away, and it wasn't really essential for the experience. It was purely for the clothing aspect.
And whereas no one played it long enough to want to customize.
It shot to the top of the top free, but it pretty quickly fell. Whereas in this game, you can playing it, you can clearly see there's a lot of potential for microtransactions because there are 3 different currencies which are used throughout the mode. So Nintendo clearly could have done a model where like, hey, get a certain amount of coins or tickets for this much, but it all happens in game and on my Nintendo, which is interesting. You can get coins and ticket stuff on my Nintendo, but going off Miitomo, that's not really a big surprise. So enough about the launch. I mean, I guess I can talk briefly about my experiences. And for starters, Connor, you might not have any, but do you have any questions for me about the experience? If not, that's fine.
Can't think of any.
That's fine. I can talk about it. I have some stuff prepared. So I bought the full version very, very promptly after downloading it because I knew I had the intention of buying it. So I figured why not do it right away so I don't have to run into that paywall once I hit the 4th level. So I did do that. And I've been enjoying all the modes. The one I've done the least of has actually been Toad Rally. I've done like 3 matches, I think. I want to do more. I still am kind of figuring out how that system works. The only thing which is unclear to me is how you play against friends, because it would appear as though it just picks 5 random opponents. It seems like it's been advertised you can play against friends, but still trying to figure that out. I've been enjoying the tour mode a lot. That's the main single player. I've played 8 of the levels, 8 of the 24 levels, and I've gotten all of the coin types in most of them. And basically the way the coin types work, so in each level the first time you play a level, there are 5 pink coins scattered throughout. And they're not too hard to get, but you definitely have to go out of your way and pick certain paths to get to them. Once you get all 5 of those, though, you unlock a version of the level where there are purple coins, which are placed in locations which are a little more challenging. Not only that, but it changes. Oh, that's a loud dog. Not only that, but it changes the layout of the level a bit. It changes enemy layout and that kind of thing. Sorry if this is very loud, guys. I'll try to speak loudly for this portion. And then once you get all 5 purple coins, you unlock the final trial, which are the 5 black coins. And here's what's interesting. So not only are these much more difficult, some of them it's taken me like over 10 tries on the level. Because some of them it's like you figure, wait, how do I even get this? But actually, so these can really change the structure of the level. For example, in World 2-1, Ghost Door Deception, because it's a ghost house, it's sort of split up into rooms, right? Mm-hmm. And so in the pink and purple levels, the 2nd and 3rd rooms are essentially the same thing. But the black coins, like the rooms, it's like completely new, different rooms, which really took me by surprise. So it almost feels like an entirely different level. So despite there being only 24 levels, there are essentially more than that because of the black coins as well as the purple and pink coins. I don't know whether that way of the levels being completely different will extend to other levels. It felt unique because it was a ghost house, but we're gonna have to wait and see. But that was that. I mean, it's been really enjoyable. I'm a completionist, so I love going for the coins. I also love that on the level select screen, you can see your friends' high scores. I've had quite a bit of friendly competition. I'm holding on to a couple records in the aforementioned 2-1. I've got 331 coins over the number 2 score of 212. I had some stolen from me, but hey, see, I'm enjoying the game a lot, and I kind of hope they do add more level packs because it doesn't seem like there are a ton of levels. But like I said, there's a lot to do in each one with the with the different coin colors, and the multiplayer is another fun way to get more mileage out of those levels. As for the Kingdom Builder, it's interesting. I mean, I definitely there's not really a ton of practical function, at least not that I've accessed yet. It also seems like your space is pretty limited that you have to put stuff, but apparently you can unlock an item which allows you to get like a lot more space. So I'm looking forward to that. The main thing that you can do in here is unlock more characters, which should I spoil the characters for folks? I don't know if that's really okay, what I will say is we already, you should already know about Luigi, Toad, and Yoshi. They've already been shown in the game's marketing. What I will say is that there are a couple more characters which you can unlock through the game. And this is actually interesting.
Toad that you unlock there and the Toad that you get on My Nintendo, are they different?
My Nintendo is the only way to get Toad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you get Luigi and Yoshi through building certain structures in your kingdom. I'm gonna say character 5, you also get through building a structure, and character 6 you get through clearing the main story, or I guess the main game. And I will just say one of these characters was a bit surprising. The other, not a surprise, but I was hoping they were going to be, and I was disappointed when they weren't in the trailer. And I love this character's ability. So, yeah. It's Peach.
Whoa, spoilers.
Whoa.
No one would have guessed that. Maybe I
Groundbreaking.
thought you were talking about like Monty Mole
Maybe.
and Boo.
Or Spike. That would have been, that
Or
would have been
Wario and Waluigi.
Oh, that would be crazy, man. Waluigi is DLC, please. The Waluigi and Wario pack, the nasty pack. So that's been good, and that's really it for my impressions. I mean, I'm sure I'll talk about it again in the coming weeks on what we're playing. I won't talk about it this much, but give updates on how I'm liking levels. I'm finding levels are very diverse in terms of layout and things you do in the level, so it doesn't feel stale at all, and the game just feels good. So hopefully, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this progresses. It's going to be interesting to see how this impacts the App Store market because there's been a ton of outcry against this $10 price tag. How much of that have you seen?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's probably the majority of what I've seen about the game, actually.
Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of, we know this very well, and this is just a truth, is that so many mobile games are free. That's what a lot of mobile gamers have come to expect, that games are free. And so for them to be playing and then say it says $10, that sort of seems like a rude awakening. And like, oh, this is, that's something they don't expect. And I think one of, or at least, and I don't think Nintendo has stated this, but I imagine one of their goals is to sort of reinvigorate the market in regards to having, paid apps sort of standing a chance in the market in terms of the money they can make. Because for the longest time, this is a strong word, but it almost feels like there's been a stigma against paid apps just because, like, it feels, it almost feels like it's too much to even pay anything for an app for a lot of mobile consumers. And hopefully the popularity of this app can start to reverse that trend and encourage more developers to try a premium method, but we're going to have to wait and see. Certainly the brand power of Mario helps, but whether that can extend further, for now remains a mystery, but I sure hope so. Anyway, do we have Pokemon stuff next up?
First off, a quick update that broke while we were talking about that. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U is seeing a return of popular conquests via conquest mode starting in January 2017. And it will also be easier to obtain custom parts as prizes, apparently. So,
all right, that's a very random update.
Yeah. Thanks, whoever decided to update Smash.
GG Sakurai.
Let's be fair here. It's probably to add more interest into this back into Smash for the Switch port, or Nintendo just to be like, see, we didn't abandon the Wii U.
Oh, that's probably it too. Like, just because think about how easy of an update that is. They're just tweaking some numbers. No, that's not to discredit their work, but it's certainly not really new features being added. So that's actually a good point. They could have done it to show, just as a sign that they're still supporting Wii U, even though they're really not really in a big way at all. But I would imagine this is maybe also to sort of remind people, hey, a Switch version is coming, even though they haven't announced that people kind of know that there is one coming. Hopefully, maybe that's happening. There's a lot that we still don't know about this thing. We'll talk about more about that later, though.
Also, Super Nintendo World was, I guess, officially announced. Like, they already knew about the theme parks,
right,
but now we know
the name. Yeah.
And also that they are aiming for at least the Tokyo version.
Like specifically for Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah, to be open by the Olympics in 2020.
Right.
So that's a good goal, I guess, because
that's
a lot. Olympics bring a lot of tourists, so
that could be a huge revenue year for Japan in regards to tourist stuff.
I could see them like prioritizing the Tokyo one just to have that.
Right.
So I don't know anything about theme parks, if they have to deal with delays or if they know pretty much how long exactly this is going to take to set up.
This is not a theme park podcast, folks.
Yeah, I have no idea how theme parks deal with stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Orlando and Hollywood parks don't meet the summer 2020.
Yeah, no, probably not. Launch. Probably not. This is just a total estimate from someone who knows nothing about theme park development, but maybe by 2022. I don't know. I'd
be that long. Like, I feel what they might do is just take research and development resources from all of them and combine them just to Tokyo just to make sure. And
It gets done, yeah.
then once they're done with R&D and all they're doing is building, because I don't think they're going to contract like Americans to fly over to Tokyo and build. So once R&D's done, I assume they don't, like, that's pretty much just the builders now, which wouldn't, delaying the American ones wouldn't really affect that much.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I think it might be maybe 2021, but I don't think too late. But
Right.
I mean, again, we know nothing about theme parks.
Yeah. And again, this is interesting. So they've officially branded it Super Nintendo World, which suggests that yes, multiple Nintendo properties will be present. They even said in their tweet that like featuring attractions or whatever from many Nintendo Nintendo series or properties or something. But what's funny is if you look at this, I mean, they released concept art, and it's purely Mario.
Yeah.
Which kind of conflicts a little bit with that. This is purely going off the concept art, but this would seem to suggest that all of the major attractions would be Mario based, with things like, I don't know, stores and restaurants maybe being not. I mean, I don't know. It's really, there's not much we know at this point. Concept art does look good though. Looks like both Peach's and Bowser's castles are present. The other thing we don't know about theme parks is how loyal they are to the concept art.
Mm-hmm.
We also know that this area is going to be. Actually, I don't know how much we know about size. I think we know the budget. I think it's exceeding like the Harry Potter area, if I recall correctly. So this is by no means a minor undertaking. That's for sure. And one other tiny detail, some patents surfaced regarding potential ride stuff. One of them was actually a few of them were really cool. One was sort of like a cart-based system with like a drifting mechanic, which obviously would probably go hand in hand with Mario Kart. And one was not Donkey Kong, but a minecart style thing where, it appears as though you are in this minecart on a track, but there's actually a hidden track below you, from which the Minecraft, from which the minecart is actually being held up. And so the purpose of that is it can simulate like jumps from one track to another, which seems pretty awesome. You could think you're going to
They're just going to make giant gaps in the track for you to
hope
you land.
Yeah, you do it. Life or death roller coaster. So it's those are pretty exciting. I personally, the Mario Kart one would certainly be fun, but I personally would be more excited for the Donkey Kong one just because they could set up some really thrilling scenarios, especially if they have plenty of I don't know, background. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like background items.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of atmosphere. I guess that's what I'm looking for. So potentially some really exciting experiences. In regards to the, I guess, release dates or opening dates, assuming they're all releasing within maybe a year span, I would definitely want to try to wait, for me personally, for the Florida one, just because that would probably be a much cheaper trip. Although the potential combo of Japan Olympics and theme park does seem enticing, I will say. We'll have to wait and see on that. No signs of Pokemon stuff either.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Pokemon stuff, the Pokemon 20th movie was announced, and it's called Pokemon the 20th movie, I Choose You. I think it might just be called I Choose You. It's just, I think the Japanese movies always have Pokemon the something movie.
Right.
So I Choose You, and it's a remake of episode 1 of the anime, which is kind of interesting, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
So we kind of knew that there needed to be some kind of filler movie, unless Gen 8 was like right about to come out or something, because there's only one other event Pokemon currently in the code. So, there's a Pikachu with Ash's hat, so that's probably going to be tied to this movie.
Right.
So we kind of knew there had to be a filler movie related to this gen. So I guess this is kind of it, but they tied it to the 20th anniversary, even though it's a year later, because it comes out, I think, July 17th next year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting idea, I guess. I don't watch a lot of the Pokemon anime. I watched the first 2 episodes of Sun and Moon, and it was cool. But I don't know.
Yeah.
If Arms was here, he might be.
Yeah, he might be a bit more enthusiastic about it. And would this be? You know how long the episodes are? Probably under an hour, right?
The episodes or the movies?
The episodes.
Episodes are just your 20-minute TV show.
Oh, so they're short. Okay. So if it's just episode 1, they're really gonna have to stretch it out.
I don't think it would be too bad to stretch it out because there is kind of a lot that goes on in that episode, and they kind of go pretty quick.
Right. And they could probably go more in depth on some stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually watched a Pokemon movie all the way through, so I'll probably check this one out though.
I don't think it would be too bad with pacing.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine if they're doing this, they have a plan. They're not just.
Oh yeah, no, certainly they're not going to wing it.
They're not just going to be like, "Hey, it would be cool if we did this," and then.
Oh wait,
pacing's terrible. They're kids; they won't notice.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll probably check this out. Sounds fun. I mean, tons of stuff happening.
The dubs are usually, well, the Magearna movie just came out last weekend or something on Disney XD, and the Pokemon movies in Japan come out in July usually. So that's about the time you'll be waiting, probably.
Yeah. And in other Pokemon news, so a Pokemon Go update happened, and it wasn't really as huge as some people thought. Definitely, we now have Togepi, Pichu, among others. Conor has the list. There's also Magby,
Electabuzz, Cleffa, Igglybuff, Smoochum.
And yeah, they all come from eggs. They didn't add genders, right?
I don't think so.
So there was a lot of stuff in the code people saw. People saw like costumes, genders, babies. And so we got babies, but other stuff I guess we're going to have to wait for. So it does sound like they'll be doing a sort of a slow rollout of Gen 2. And
good idea, guys, putting exclusive Pokemon mid-December.
We don't think this is the number one idea in the world. That's because if they were to sort of drop everything at once, that would give people a reason. Well, number one, December not be a great time for it, but hey, if they were to do it in not December, dropping the entire generation at once would give people a great reason to look out because they would have much greater odds of finding something new. And it would definitely reinvigorate sort of having it would make finding wild Pokemon a bit more exciting again because, currently you're seeing maybe a lot of the same guys. So this would help create a more interesting, and of course, a lot more to do in your Pokedex for those who have completed that.
I mean, Gen 2 has a lot of the most popular Pokemon in the series. Togepi is probably the only one that was added in this. There's Espeon and Umbreon could have been added. Tyranitar could have been added.
Oh, that would have been smart to do the EV, to increase the number of evolutions.
There's just so many popular Gen 2 Pokemon. And then for them to just add eggs and a Santa Hat, Pikachu and Raichu.
Is there even a Santa Hat Pichu?
No.
Wow. Sad.
And yeah, you can't breed. The Pichu, Togepi, Cleffa, and Igglybuff are in 5K eggs, and Magby, Smoochum, and Elekid are in 10K eggs. And there's, as far as I know, no difference between an old Pokemon's egg and one of these guys.
God. So you're gonna have to hatch a bunch of 10K eggs and not even know if they're.
And also, I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure Pikachu is a 2K egg, so that means it's harder to hatch a Pichu egg than a Pikachu egg.
Interesting stuff going on. I mean, I guess the Santa Pikachu is pretty cute. Looking at the bright side, but certainly there's. I mean, it's definitely reinvigorated the game a little bit. In regards to profits, at least on the App Store, because currently on the top grossing, it is number 6, I think. Yeah, 6. A couple of days ago, it was number 1, and it's sort of bouncing around. So, no, I think it never really left, but it was kind of more around 10, 11. So I mean, they're making a little bit more, but in terms of player satisfaction, I think they have to go a bit further than that.
Hmm. I don't even think it would be too hard to implement all the Johto Pokemon at once because they already have all the models. They're just ripping X and Y and those games' models.
Right.
So they, I guess not ripping because it's an official game, so they have access to the models.
Mm.
But they're just reusing the models basically. I think they're adding a filter or something to them.
Yeah.
But they have the models, not like I guess figuring out the stats, but I think that's all done already.
Yeah, it should all be predetermined. Cries are already there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that's already there. I mean, obviously, we respect the fact that game development takes time. It's not a simple copy and paste process, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's been so much time, and I guess maybe some of that's been server maintenance and rolling out to new countries. But you've got to have something new for your, to keep people interested.
Especially on mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, mobile's all about the long game. In terms of at least when you're talking revenue. So you've got to keep people hooked, whether that's with in-app purchases or updates. Pokemon Go has definitely been leaning on the in-app purchases side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's it for Pokemon this week. We've got some interesting Wii U related news, and sort of just is a not only interesting piece of news in itself, but sort of speaks to the state of Wii U further. So Yooka-Laylee, a game for which the Wii U version was sort of pinned to be like the main version and it was being developed in-house, that version has been canceled. And I think, I forget if I mentioned this on the show or on Twitter, but I had talked about how I thought it was unlikely that the Wii U version would be canceled because, like, it's the primary version they're developing it in-house. So much work is being put into it. Why cancel that? But reportedly it is being canceled because of technical issues. They just couldn't get the game how they wanted it to be. Some are speculating whether this is true. Some people are thinking it's a combination of this and sort of logistical, financial reasons. Some are thinking it's purely financial and that this is total baloney. But I mean, personally, as someone who knows they're going to be getting the Switch probably at launch, I'm fine with this. I'm not really gonna. I mean, this game comes out in April, and I'm not really gonna want to be playing my Wii U in April after the Switch comes out, unless I really want to revisit, an old game or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this decision's probably for the better from a personal standpoint as well as from a business standpoint. I think they'll do much better. I mean, I imagine they would have done well Wii U because I believe that's where most of Yooka-Laylee's potential buyers are. But I think the Switch will even further increase their sales. Just the state of the Wii U eShop is it's less than pretty. And this is interesting because we can sort of relate this to other Wii or Nindies, I guess. So Stardew Valley is a game which just came out on, I believe, both PS4 and Xbox One after being a big hit on PC earlier this year. And now the Wii U version was also canceled for this game. And, of course, the Switch version is being made. Now, in this game's case, I can't really speak to Yooka-Laylee on this front, but with this being sort of like a farming type simulator, a lot of people like this kind of game on a handheld. So in that case, it's very smart to put it on, hybrid. But that's one example. Another is The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, I believe is the name of it, which is sort of the latest version of that game. It's not been officially confirmed, but it was strongly hinted at in a cryptic tweet or a series of tweets that the game will be coming to Switch. So it does look like a number of indies which could be coming to Wii U are sort of making the switch.
Oh.
And that pun is beaten to death at this point. So as a potential consumer, that's exciting. And hopefully for those companies, that presents a greater business opportunity. Everybody wins, except for Wii owners who aren't buying a Switch, which probably aren't very large in numbers. And that's for that. Now, sort of that transition from Wii U to Switch will carry us into our last bits of news here, and we've got some interesting info on public events, specifically in terms of there's two aspects. One is in relation to My Nintendo members, which kind of was a surprise to me, but they're doing, or specifically Nintendo America is doing what they're calling a Nintendo Switch preview tour. Big creative name, I know. And so what they're doing is they're emailing select My Nintendo members, and it sounds like they're going to have these I guess, semi-public events in cities like New York, Toronto, Washington, D.C., Chicago, San Fran, and Los Angeles. And these are ranging all the way from January 13th up to March 5th, which maybe the Switch will release a week after that, because these are all sort of a week apart.
It's every weekend from pretty much after the Switch event.
So if hold on, I'm gonna peep my calendar here. Let's get some hardcore speculation going.
That'd be March 10th.
March 10th, which would that be a Friday?
Yeah, March 10th is a Friday.
Yes, it would. That would be perfect. Except for the fact that the bad. Oh, go ahead.
I think one of the leaks from Laura Kate or someone, maybe Eurogamer, said March 17th in Europe.
Okay.
But
this would fit with the whole Mario Day thing.
I'm also not entirely sure about March 10th because Nintendo also announced they're going to certain events with the Switch, including PAX South from January 27th to 29th, PAX East from March 10th to 12th, and South by Southwest from March 16th to 18th. So it seems weird that they would have it at two events after it's launched. Like, I know they do that, but I'm not entirely sure. However, it also would seem weird to like not keep this preview tour going all the way until it launches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, it's kind of hard to go just based off that, but it's perhaps a good point of speculation. And what at least the impression I'm getting is that so most of these events are 3-day long things, and so the third day will be open to the public, or you have to get first come first serve in terms of tickets. Or actually, no, the third days will be completely open to the public, whereas the first 2 days will be ticketed. But you have to be My Nintendo to get the tickets. It's all a bit confusing.
It said in the press release it says invite only, so I'm assuming you need to get the email.
Dang, this is pretty hardcore.
But then the third day is first come first serve.
Got it. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll be making it to one of these. Armando though might be doing PAX South, which would be January 27th. So we could potentially get that scoop. And that'll be the same day as the Toronto event, so pretty early in the span of things. I do wish I could travel to New York, but it's probably a bit redundant. Is that a weekend? Yeah, that is a weekend. Oh, that's tempting, but well, we do have that Monday off. Ooh, I'm thinking about it because I can drive. I'm thinking about it. Who knows? I mean, I sure would love to try and report on it. We could have plenty of coverage. Just a possibility.
Rip me.
Yeah.
San Fran's probably the closest one here.
And that's quite the drive, probably.
Yeah, it's a 3-day drive to get to
California
from here. And Toronto, I think, is probably just as far. Mm-hmm. And that would be the second closest. Well, I guess LA, but...
yeah, that would also be quite far.
LA and San Fran, like they're at that point, they're not that far apart when you're driving for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, what difference does it make at that point? What's 5 hours at that point, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess this is cool. They talked a little bit about, well, when they announced the Switch event, I guess that's happening on January 12th. They had said, events will follow. I forget how much they said in regards to the events being public, but hey, we finally have some good info on this, and it sounds like it's going to be at really pretty much every major kind of event / convention that's happening. So hopefully that'll be a good way to get the word out there.
I think Europe is also doing these tour things. It's just I couldn't find the exact dates because I saw there's one happening in London.
I think it's a press thing.
Is it? Because I saw it was the same My Nintendo emails.
Oh, in that case, if it's My Nintendo, then yeah, I imagine it's a similar public deal. Because I'd heard about a Switch press event in London, but I suppose that they probably
Paris.
Oh, I think there's one in Paris, but also maybe one in London. I don't know.
We don't pay too much attention to Europe. Sorry,
Nope.
Europeans.
Sorry, guys. So yeah, looking forward to this. Even if we don't get to go, I'm sure we'll get a ton of impressions out of this. Fun stuff.
Maybe some dank memes.
Hopefully, maybe Reggie will be there. Might be the New York one. You never know. And last but not least, the Switch event time has been confirmed to be 1 p.m. Japan Standard Time, which translates to 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, and I think 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. Some crazy time for Europe. They're gonna have this.
Yeah, I think it's 4 a.m. UK time. GMT.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so for me, I'm personally fine with this, and that's because so many Nintendo Directs happen at 10 a.m. and that's during my literature class, and I always feel guilty having a window open watching that while something's going on, but I'm always so tempted to anyway. So I'm glad. I mean, occasionally there will be ones at like 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern, but for me, 11 p.m., even though it's rather late and it is a school night, it's ideal because I'll be able to actually watch it live and maybe even do a live. I mean, we don't know what our plans are going to be yet for BlazKick. We should formulate this soon, but we may do a live thing. I mean, we'll definitely do coverage in some form, but this will make that easier for me. And just from a personal standpoint, being able to watch it live will be very exciting.
This time in general is kind of weird, though. Like,
yeah, no, we discussed this. It's very bizarre.
Mid-afternoon on a Friday in Japan, and then it's like early night, late evening in North America, and it's middle of the night in Europe.
Yeah, definitely not a Europe targeted event.
I guess East Europe and West Asia it's probably the best for, but I don't think that's where Nintendo's main demographic is.
No, I guess.
I know this is a live event thing in Japan where the press is, right. So it can't just be like at 7 p.m. Japanese time or something. Yeah. So I see that, but it still seems kind of weird the timing they placed it.
Well, okay, for me, what fits the most, E3 conferences usually happen around noonish, right? Maybe a little bit before.
Yeah.
And so then they get the rest of the day to plan stuff, so I guess this is kind of a similar deal.
Mm.
You're right, though. We've never really seen a Nintendo event with timing like this, except there was like a Hyrule Warriors Direct, which was at like 10 p.m. Eastern or something once, which was weird. I remember that. And I think that just about wraps it up for our news. That was a lot, but some exciting stuff definitely going on in the world of Nintendo.
Hype.
In the super world of Nintendo. And so our poll for this week is related to Mario Run. We're going to have 4 choices. Have you downloaded Super Mario Run yet? You can say yes. Yes, and I've paid the unlock fee. No, or I have best phone, aka Android. So look out for that. And
so just to clarify though, only vote the Android option if you plan on downloading it once it releases on Android. If you have an Android but don't plan on paying for it, just vote no.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, last week we asked, will the new Pokemon get you playing Pokemon Go again? I kind of had to word this. It was kind of hard to word this because the Pokemon had launched. And right. I think the original question we asked is, will the possibility of new Pokemon or something?
Mm-hmm.
But by the time the poll went up, the Pokemon had already come out. So
yeah.
And I feel like the Pokemon already being out also kind of influenced the poll. I think the results would have been different if they hadn't been out. But anyway,
right.
30% were still playing, 24% say yes, and 46% say no, with 37 voters. I do think that if it hadn't been announced that they were doing such small Pokemon when we launched the poll, I think yes might have at least been closer.
Right.
Maybe not win, but
for
closer.
Me personally, on the show, I said yes with the idea that it would be more of Gen 2.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, I actually voted no because it just was not enough.
And I mean, I was still playing anyway, and I'm not good. Well, I mean, I'm not really playing right now, but the Pokemon being there isn't what's causing me not to play.
Right.
When I was playing isn't available anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so plugs. We are currently still posting posts on Patreon instead of BlazeKick. They're unlocked, free to the public. It's just we need someone to host them because we don't want to direct people to BlazeKick right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it will be fixed soon. But go read my School of Volume 5 review. That was not as late as some other manga review. For some reason, I just forgot about like all the manga releasing the past 3 months or something. So I'm having to get caught up on these reviews. And also my BBK BRNK series review because I'm doing both 1 and 2. That's not done yet, but it should be up by the time this goes up. Izetta might be up, but I doubt it. And speaking of Izetta, go watch episode 11 of Izetta the Last Witch. And also, we are currently on VidMe, well, now on VidMe, which is a kind of like YouTube streaming, not streaming, but like video viewing service.
Right.
We basically just, I think it's good to not let YouTube have a monopoly anymore. So I'm trying to do all I can to help other services get more notice. So, and also people are on VidMe. There's probably people who are trying to get away from YouTube, so we might as well help them out.
Join the movement.
Give our viewers as many places to watch us as possible, because it's not like it's any extra work really. I just upload the same video.
Yeah.
And not speaking of Patreon, it was a while since I talked about that, but we have a Patreon page. You can give us $1 a month, and you have early access to. Currently, Unleashed is the only podcast not on break. I think PSP's coming back in January. I know they were off for school and winter stuff, but I'm not sure when they're coming back. I think I saw January somewhere. I also don't know about Podcast Scorpio. I think Arm said that's coming back soon, and BK Podcast is coming back soon, and yeah, that's the podcast. So $1 gets you 24-hour early access to those. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel and our VidMe channel to watch content on those channels, and subscribe on iTunes and Google Play Music to listen to our podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. I'm DoubleThroughOne.
I'm Dashi007.
Arms is at ArmsMXZ. Haha.
Good one.
BlazeKick is at BlazeKick Tweet. Nintendo Unleashed is at Nin Unleashed. Don't currently visit BlazeKick.com unless you're listening to this far in the future. And make sure to come back next week for, I don't actually know if we know of anything that's going to happen next week.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of blind. Hopefully something big happens. So if not, we'll maybe do that, name that game, song game again. We're definitely going to have to do that on episode 100, but maybe we'll bring it back before then too.
Hype.
Cool.
So, yeah, come back to find out what we're going to talk about. And before some giant bombshell news just drops as soon as we hit stop recording.
Now. Zelda Wii U canceled. Goodbye.
Wii U canceled. We reached some technical difficulties.